Retail payments ecosystem is one of the most complex domains in electronic payments. The payments ecosystem consists of various entities that plays a role in the payments ecosystem. This session will focus on retail electronic payments and how the transaction flows among the entities. Let us take a look at the merchant acquiring ecosystem. A cardholder is the person who initiates the payment transaction. He or she should hold a credit card or debit card issued by their bank. The cardholder may also have a wallet account with Paytm or Google Pay. This is the account from where they need to make the payment on purchase at a merchant shop or online. When they make such purchases using their credit card, they get a statement at the end of the month from their issuing bank. The issuing bank has given them a credit card, and when they get paid by the customer after a credit period of 30 days, they earn interest on the same. Now let us take a look at the different channels of payment. The customer can make a payment physically at a merchant shop or from a website like Amazon or using a mobile app like Book My Ticket. The different types of payment methods are credit card, debit card, bank transfers, wallets, prepaid cards, and of course cash. On the other hand, card networks acts as a bridge between the card issuers and the merchants. The different types of card networks are Visa, MasterCard, Amex, China UnionPay, and Discover. The issuer bank issue cards which belong to one of these networks. A lot of things happen between the time a cardholder swipes his card and signs the card slip. When the cardholder makes a payment at a merchant shop, it is called as a card-present transaction. The credit or debit card is swiped at the POS terminal or device at the merchant shop. This is called mag-stripe transaction. The card can be inserted into the terminal to make the transaction. This kind of transaction is very secure since it uses an EMV technology. EMV is an abbreviation for Europay MasterCard Visa and is a universal standard for this type of payment transaction. During the transaction, the 16-digit PAN or primary account number on the card is encrypted using a secure key inside the payment terminal. The encrypted PAN and a cryptogram is sent from the terminal to the payment network. Hence, EMV transactions are most secure. The card can also be tapped against the terminal or waved against it. This is called a contactless transaction or NFC, near-field transaction. This is also an EMV transaction and is very secure. The payment transaction coming from the terminal comes in an international standard format called ISO 8583. For better understanding, consider an example. When the transaction is made from an e-commerce website such as Amazon or Flipkart, it is called a card not present (CNP) transaction. The web page on the Amazon website from where the transaction is initiated is called the pay page. Now let us understand how acquiring gateway works. The payment transaction from the POS terminal or pay page comes to a payment gateway which acquires the transaction after checking for fraud. It usually fraud checks whether the card number is from the hot list or the blocked list. Let us now understand the working of a processor or bank host. The payment gateway acquires transactions from thousands of online merchants. The gateway is connected to the bank or the processor, which is directly integrated with the card networks or payment networks. In case of POS terminal transactions, they come from the terminal to the processor or host. The Visa card transaction is sent to the Visa network, the MasterCard transaction is sent to the MasterCard network, and so on. The card network routes the transaction to the bank that issued the card. Moving further, let us understand how transaction authorization works. The issuing bank authorizes the transaction after checking whether you have sufficient credit limit on your card. The transaction then comes back to the gateway and then to the terminal where it says your transaction is successful. In case of a transaction at a POS terminal, the transaction gets completed in this one cycle and your card balance gets reduced instantly. Moving further, let us look at the processing of settlement, interchange, and MDR fees. In a POS terminal transaction, A merchant discount rate or MDR is applied for every transaction. The merchant will have this applied on every transaction as the fee for having their card transaction processed by the acquirer. The acquired transaction is now sent to the issuing bank for settlement via the payment network. This is usually sent in a batch mode, and the payment network applies an interchange fee for using their network on the transaction value. The processor or acquirer then applies commission of these settled transactions as their fee and remits the balance to the merchant's bank account. You have reached the end of this video. In subsequent videos, we will talk about the various types of payment transactions, how EMV works and what is cryptography. Thank you.